The most controversial generals of the American Civil War, scandals and audacity. The American Civil War, a pivotal moment in United States history, was not just a battle between the North and South but also a stage for some of the most controversial and audacious military leaders of the time. This video delves into the lives and careers of 10 generals whose actions, decisions, and personalities sparked debates, controversies, and sometimes outright scandal. From acts of brazen courage to decisions of questionable judgment, these figures left an indelible mark on the fabric of American military history. Number 1. General John Bell Hood, aggression to the point of recklessness. General John Bell Hood's aggressive tactics culminated in recklessness during the Franklin-Nashville campaign of late 1864, most notably at the Battle of Franklin on November 30th. Hood ordered a frontal assault against fortified Union positions, resulting in severe Confederate losses, nearly 6,200 casualties, including 1,750 killed. This decision not only depleted the Army of Tennessee but also demonstrated a perilous disregard for strategic caution and the welfare of his troops. The immediate consequence was the crippling of Hood's force, which faced a decisive defeat at the subsequent Battle of Nashville on December 15 to 16, marking a significant blow to Confederate efforts in the Western Theater. Hood's actions at Franklin epitomized the hazardous balance between boldness and strategic prudence, highlighting how aggressive command can lead to disastrous outcomes when not tempered by careful planning and respect for enemy defenses. Number 2. General William Tecumseh Sherman, the harbinger of total war. Born on February 8, 1820, in Lancaster, Ohio, General William Tecumseh Sherman became one of the most pivotal military leaders for the Union, renowned for his implementation of total war tactics. His March to the Sea, a military campaign from November to December 1864, is a defining moment of his legacy. Starting in Atlanta, Georgia, and concluding in Savannah, Sherman's forces cut a swath of destruction across the Confederate heartland, targeting not just military installations but also civilian infrastructure and private property. This strategy aimed to demoralize the Confederacy and hasten the war's end by undermining the Southern economy and will to continue fighting. Sherman's approach, while effective in contributing to the Union's victory, sparked significant controversy due to its impact on civilian populations and the widespread destruction it caused. His famous declaration, "War is hell," reflects his pragmatic view of war's devastating nature and his belief in the necessity of his harsh tactics to preserve the Union. Number 3. General Nathan Bedford Forrest, a brilliant tactician and controversial figure. Nathan Bedford Forrest, born July 13, 1821, in Chapel Hill, Tennessee, was a Confederate cavalry leader known for his fearless raids and innovative tactics, despite lacking formal military education. His military acumen allowed him to achieve notable successes against Union forces, making him a feared and respected figure in the Confederate Army. However, Forrest's reputation is heavily tarnished by his involvement in the Fort Pillow Massacre on April 12, 1864, where surrendered African American Union troops were killed, an act that has been widely condemned as a war crime. Forrest's post-Civil War activities, including his role in founding the Ku Klux Klan in 1866, a group that promoted white supremacy and racial segregation, have made him a deeply controversial figure in American history. Despite his military brilliance, Forrest's legacy is indelibly linked to his actions during and after the war, which have sparked ongoing debate about his place in Civil War history. Number 4. General Ambrose Burnside, a case of misplaced leadership. Ambrose Burnside, an officer whose career exemplifies the Peter Principle, found himself in over his head as the commander of the Army of the Potomac. His appointment in November 1862 was marked by his own reservations about his suitability for the role, reflecting his awareness of the daunting responsibilities it entailed. Despite previous successes in lower command positions, his leadership faced its most severe test at the Battle of Fredericksburg on December 13, 1862. Burnside's decision to launch repeated frontal assaults against well-entrenched Confederate positions on Marye's Heights led to catastrophic Union losses, with nearly 12,600 casualties compared to the Confederates' 5,300. This battle underscored Burnside's limitations in tactical innovation and strategic foresight, significantly impacting his military reputation and illustrating the Civil War's challenges in identifying and maintaining effective leadership. Number 5. General Jeb Stewart, cavalryman extraordinaire and intelligence failure. General James Ewell Brown, Jeb Stewart, renowned for his flamboyant personality and cavalry command expertise, faced a critical setback during the Gettysburg campaign in June and July 1863. Stewart's cavalry was tasked with providing General Robert E. Lee with vital reconnaissance information about Union troop movements. However, Stewart's wide-ranging raid around the Union Army delayed his return, leaving Lee without crucial intelligence. This absence was acutely felt in the days leading up to the Battle of Gettysburg, contributing to the Confederate defeat. Stewart's failure to inform Lee of the Union Army's positions and movements demonstrated the risks associated with his bold, but sometimes overly ambitious, operational style. This episode highlighted the significant impact of intelligence operations on military outcomes and marked a turning point in Stewart's otherwise illustrious career. Number 6. General Joseph Hooker, from Fighting Joe to Chancellorsville debacle. General Joseph Hooker, known as Fighting Joe for his aggressive combat style, took command of the Army of the Potomac in January 1863, following Burnside's dismissal after Fredericksburg. Hooker quickly set about restoring the Army's morale and discipline, earning widespread respect among his troops. However, his tenure faced a significant challenge at the Battle of Chancellorsville, May 1 to 3, 1863. Despite his numerical superiority, approximately 134,000 Union troops to Lee's 60,000, Hooker's indecisiveness and strategic missteps allowed Lee and Lieutenant General Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson to execute a daring flanking maneuver that surprised and overwhelmed Hooker's forces. The Union's defeat, with about 17,000 casualties to the Confederacy's 13,000, was a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of warfare and the critical importance of leadership under pressure. Hooker's failure at Chancellorsville is often cited as a prime example of how overconfidence and lack of tactical flexibility can lead to disaster on the battlefield. Number 7. General Braxton Bragg, the embodiment of Confederate discord. General Braxton Bragg, serving as a principal commander in the Confederate Army, experienced a tenure rife with internal strife and controversy. His leadership, particularly during key moments like the Battle of Chickamauga on September 19 to 20, 1863, showcased initial military prowess, securing a significant Confederate victory. However, Bragg's inability to leverage this success into strategic advantage was emblematic of deeper issues within the Confederacy. His leadership style, marked by a rigid demeanor and frequent clashes with both subordinates and superiors, eroded the cohesion and morale of his forces. These internal conflicts, culminating in his eventual relief from command following a series of operational failures, highlighted the detrimental impact of discordant leadership on the Confederate war effort. Bragg's tenure underscored the challenges of maintaining unity and strategic focus amidst personal and professional rivalries. Number 8. General George B. McClellan, the reluctant warrior. General George B. McClellan, born December 3, 1826, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, emerged as a central figure in the early years of the American Civil War due to his role in shaping the Union Army. Appointed as the commander of the Army of the Potomac in July 1861, McClellan was celebrated for his organizational prowess, transforming an untrained militia into a formidable fighting force. However, his tenure was marked by a series of missed opportunities and a hesitant approach to engagement with Confederate forces. His reluctance to launch aggressive offensives, particularly evident during the Peninsula Campaign from March to July 1862, frustrated President Abraham Lincoln and led to tension within the military leadership. Despite preparing the Union Army for battle, McClellan's failure to decisively confront Confederate forces, especially during key moments like the Battle of Antietam in September 1862, culminated in his removal from command in November 1862. McClellan's complex legacy includes his subsequent political career, notably his run for the presidency against Lincoln in 1864 as a Democrat advocating for a negotiated peace, which underscored his divisive stance on the war's conduct and objectives. Number 9. General Benjamin Butler, Beast Butler and the occupation of New Orleans. General Benjamin Butler's role as the military governor of New Orleans after its capture on April 25, 1862, cemented his notoriety in the annals of Civil War history. His tenure was marked by a series of controversial decrees aimed at maintaining order within the occupied city. The most infamous of these was General Order No. 28, issued on May 15, 1862, which stated that any woman acting disrespectfully towards Union troops would be treated as a woman of the street plying her avocation. This order, intended to curb the public insult of Union soldiers by Confederate sympathizers, incited widespread indignation across the South and earned Butler the moniker Beast. His strict policies, while effective in preserving order, contributed to his vilification in the South and remain a contentious topic in the broader discussion of military governance and occupation. Number 10. General George Pickett, Pickett's Charge and a Tarnished Legacy. General George Pickett's name is inextricably linked with the tragic failure of Pickett's Charge on the third day of the Battle of Gettysburg, July 3, 1863. This assault, a direct charge across open fields against fortified Union positions on Cemetery Ridge, resulted in devastating losses for the Confederacy, with over half of Pickett's division either killed, wounded, or captured. The decision to proceed with this charge, supported by Robert E. Lee, has been scrutinized for its strategic rationale. Pickett's public attribution of the blame to Lee exacerbated his tarnished reputation. Despite previous commendable service, Pickett's legacy remains overshadowed by this moment of profound loss, symbolizing the futility and devastation of the war.